Brilliance Audio presents Begone, the Raggedy Witches by Celine Kiernan. Performed by Kate Rudd. "Is he breathing?" asked Mop, peering between the bars into Tipper's cot. "Yes," said Mum. "Don't wake him." "Tipper will miss Aunty, won't he, Mum?" Mum didn't answer. She frowned out into the garden as she cracked the curtains, causing a spear of sunshine to shaft across the room. It illuminated the circus mobile which Aunty had hung over Tipper's cot. The paper figures were heavy as glass on their cobwebby strings. All the monkeys and elephants and tigers motionless. Mop touched a finger to the ringmaster's painted leg. He glittered and spun and came immediately to rest. "Everything feels..." Mop searched for the word. "Fragile," said Mum. "Ready to break." The two of them jumped as a blast of static shattered the stillness. "The witches!" cried Mop. Mum shook her head. "It's not them," she said. "Don't wake your brother." Tipper was peaceful as a pillow in his cot, his chubby hands thrown up on either side of his round face, his eyelids lightly closed. The blaring noise didn't seem to bother him at all. "Watch him," said Mum, moving out into the hall. Mop watched him for as long as it took to back to the door. Then she followed her mother to the kitchen, where the noise seemed to originate. It was the TV. It had somehow switched itself on. Mum was standing in the doorway, gazing at it, and as Mop came up behind her, the screen flicked all by itself from one empty channel to another before settling on the news. It showed a helicopter leaning drunkenly in a field, dazed men in jumpsuits being helped from the door. Mum strode across and turned up the sound. 4 hours after the helicopter from the North Sea oil rig went missing, search and rescue were amazed to discover it in this field in Cornwall. The crew and passengers are said to be disoriented but unharmed. Concern has been expressed, however, for crew member Daniel Taylor, who, despite having been named on the flight list, is nowhere to be found. Concerns that Mr. Taylor may have fallen from the craft are being discontinued as unlikely. However, the crew seems to have little knowledge of the circumstances of his disappearance, nor of how they managed to be blown so radically off course. "Daniel Taylor," said Mop quietly. "That's Dad." Mum pressed the TV to mute. "Ma'am," insisted Mop, "they're talking about Dad." Instead of answering, Mum flung open the back door where she stood in a flood of frosty sunshine, staring down to the shadow-drenched trees that hemmed the garden. Mop moved to her side. There was a cat in the shelter of the trees. It dipped its chin when it saw Mop's mother and tilted its head as if in greeting to her. Mop did not feel at all surprised when it spoke. "Highness," it said, "will you cross?" Mum's fingers closed tight against the wood of the doorframe. "Has the Queen taken my husband?" The cat wagged its head. "Maybe yes, maybe no." "There are any amount of folk interested in tempting the heir back over the border, now your aunt is not around to stop us. Who knows which of them might have taken your man, hoping to draw you across?" "That's my dad you're talking about," cried Mop. "Give him back!" The cat huffed. It lifted its luminous eyes to Mum. "Will you rescue him? After all, who else will if you do not? A spawn of earth lost in the glittering land, who else would bother to care? You do recall how to cross, don't you, Highness? The Duchess hasn't so addled your instincts that you can't recall your way home." "This is her home," cried Mop.